So good to be here. Always love coming down here. The weather's always so nice. The crowd's always so good. Plus my mum lives here in the room opposite to mine. So thanks for the lift. Today I'm going to be talking to everyone about cockroaches. So if you don't know what a cockroach is, then credit to you and your anal cleaning routine. But if you have shared a share house with a house roach, then you'll know what these little dirty sins of the earth can do to your lifestyle. Lots of pain and lots of sadness. Now I'll introduce everyone to my two least favourite housemates. First up is this teeny weeny German cockroach. These are actually the leading cause of sadness in Sydney because of their persistent presence in people's houses. This cunt roach can only be outshined by its shithouse of a cousin, the American cockroach. This cockroach is an aggressive, imposing, kind of cocky jock that can fly straight into your face in the middle of the night. Now, however much you think you hate these cockroaches, I hate them even more. Because not only am I scared to get out of my bed in the middle of the night, and they've ruined my experience of diving into a fresh bowl of muesli with the same naive enthusiasm I once had. But they also close everyone's eyes off to the beautiful world of cockroaches out there. I'm going to take it down a little bit. Everyone's going to calm down. We're going to look at a couple of photos. I'm going to change your minds. This is a cockroach. Ooh. Is it scary? No, it's sexy. It's beautiful. Another one. Look at those patterns. Look at those colors. Oh no, it's on my hand. That person picked it up on purpose. This is a gorgeous cockroach. Whoa, look at the glam, look at the color. And this one's just glowing. There's actually 2,000 species of non-pest cockroach in the world, including 500 in Australia, that play vital roles in their non-share house ecosystems. This is me. I'm a computational biologist, which basically means I have an office job. And I'm not legally allowed to go into the lab. So I'm here to tell you guys a story about the one time they let me out of the dark little room that I spend most of my time in. As a biologist, I'm sure you would expect that I would want to go somewhere really cool, like the rainforests, or the impressive and slowly dying reefs, or the incredible but really quite small snowy mountains. But no, I decided to go explore the beautiful, vast, damp little caves. And you might be asking why. Well, I went there to look for these. This is a cave cockroach of the family Nocticolidae. This is what we're all here for. So these cockroaches are quite classic in the way that they look in terms of cave species. They all have kind of the adaptations you expect within a cave. So they've lost their pigment, they have elongated appendages, long arms, long legs, really long antennae, and a lot of them have lost or completely lost their eyes as well as wings. There are, however, a number of species in the group that do have, full-grown wings, and the relationship between the cave-adapted and the free-living, adventurous outdoor ones is not well known. This right here is called Nocticola australiensis, and I'm not a big patriot, but this guy right here means big things for the country. He spent all of its life sitting in a cave in far north Queensland, having no idea that the majority of the world in the country would happily spit into its face if it was found. Look how bendy it is. Look at that sexy little side eye and those cute little wings and the fuck off antennae. It's so good to finally have a sexy insect to sell to the general public. So, what was I trying to do with these cockroaches? So the first step, we were trying to find and discover new species, because taxonomy is fun. We put the money bags here because that's what brings in all the money. And then we wanted to kind of explore like evolutionary questions about their history. So one of these would be the relationship between the cave and non-cave species in the family. And a follow-up question was to look at the relationship between Nocticolidae that live in Asia and Nocticolidae that live in Australia, to see if the species that are in Australia had dispersed from Asia into Australia around 20 million years ago, which a lot of fauna in Australia did, or if they'd been on the continent for 100 million years and back when Australia was still part of Gondwana. So this is a phylogenetic tree. It's pretty similar. It's pretty similar to a family tree, but instead of like being like parents and kids, it'll be like ancestors and like new species. So one of the things we were looking at is if we have the kind of like troglobite, cave cockroach, are all those in the same group? And then like the adventurous, like outdoor living ones, are they in a separate group? And this would kind of suggest that cave adaptation had kind of evolved once. Or we could actually find that in each of the groups or each of the families, there's the nerdy indoor like cave cockroach one and the outdoor one. This would suggest that the cave adaptations had evolved many times throughout the tree, which tell us some cool things about how they've evolved. Cool, so how did we do it? First step was to go to Chiligo-Mangana caves, which is 3 hours west of Chiligo, and try and collect some. The highlight was definitely squeezing through this tight, wet, beautiful passage and emerging in a whole new world of cockroaches. And as someone who was apologetically born through cesarean, this was a whole new experience. And just as with a newborn baby boy, all my hair fell out pretty short afterwards. So collecting the actual cockroaches, you have to use this like little straw thing, and you like chase after them. Turns out they're really small, and you just like, and there's like a minimal, manageable risk of them going into your mouth. But you put them into the little container, and we collected like a sufficient amount. So that was a great trip. So yeah, this was all our sample sites. We sampled in Far North Queensland, but I also used specimens that were already available in museums across Australia, and we were lucky enough to reach out to people in Southeast Asia as well to get some specimens from up there. So here is like my main result, which was like a big family tree, phylogenetic tree of Nocticolidae, with on the left the kind of the ancestor of the group, and as we move to the right, we move forward in time, and then the numbers on the right are the samples that we've sequenced on the right hand side. So there's a couple of new species here, which was very exciting. Once again, the money bags, because that's what brings in the funding. This actually reminds me, we're still describing a lot of them, we haven't named a lot of them, so if anyone wants to name a cockroach after an X, we would love to have some funding. You'd be one of the first people in the world to fund cockroach taxonomy, so that would be a great thing to put on your Hinge profile. This is my mother. Who's like already seen this talk. Okay. Some of the other inferences we came to. If you don't give a shit about new species, which is fair enough, we also found that at least in Group B, it looks like the Australian individuals in Group B had evolved from ancestors that lived in Asia and moved into Australia. It looks like it could also be happening in Group A, but just like the cheese stall at the Sunday markets, we need more sampling by me and my friends before we come up with a conclusion. But yeah, and this one in Group B aligns with 20 million years, which is a lot of other fauna and flora had moved into Australia around that time. Yeah, okay, so the other question was the relationship between the cave and non-cave Nocticolidae. So what we found is that the cave-adapted species, or subterranean ones, were dispersed across the tree, which was quite interesting to find. And these like big, scary, adventurous ones with big eyes and big wings were also dispersed across the tree. So this suggests that evolution or cave adaptation had occurred many times throughout the tree, and is somewhat like repeatable, predictable, repeatable, and kind of boring, honestly. And this has actually been awful for community engagement in evolution. People just don't care. And hopefully you guys will now understand why I kind of followed the like Marvel movie franchise where I'm covering up a predictable story with like jokes and a pretty face. So yeah, thank you very much.